In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get into movie star shape as a busy traveling man. I'll be taking you through a 3-step formula that, when applied correctly, will allow you to work out effectively and efficiently while traveling in a normal gym or at home, and have the freedom to eat the foods you enjoy while on the go, eating out or at home every single day, and ultimately have the highest chance of achieving your dream body. And since if you're gonna talk the talk, you should walk the walk, it's the same formula I used to go from skinny fat to absolutely shredded and competing in a bodybuilding competition just 2.5 years later, all while growing my business to multiple 6 figures, traveling the world, on top of living in 6 different countries in the past 2 years. And if you're thinking, I'm some genetic phenom, this was my starting point. But it didn't just work for me. It's the exact formula that helped Brian completely transform his life in 16 weeks. It helped Jai, a 43-year-old traveling managing director from the UK, go from skinny fat to unrecognizable in 16 weeks. It allowed Nadeem, a 52-year-old traveling lawyer, go from slightly overweight to looking like he's ready to be in the next Baywatch in just over 3 months. And as of late, we also started helping women. Take Emily, a young entrepreneur who dropped 7 pounds while toning in 1.5 months and is seeing big changes already. Or Micah, a 59-year-old business owner who is steadily losing weight while toning, improving her mobility, and getting stronger. And here are a few more examples. It works, it's proven, and today I'll be pulling back the curtain. So as long as you follow these 3 steps, you're pretty much guaranteed to see results, no matter your starting point. And as I run you through them, I'm going to prove to you why. This is all you need. So make sure to take out some notes, grab a pen and paper, because you're going to want to write these down. Yo, it's Dom from the future. As I was editing the video, I just remembered that I forgot to mention that if you guys want to watch the video on 2x speed, feel free to do so. That will save you a ton of time. But if you don't, that's totally cool too. Just wanted to remind you. Other than that, let's get back to the video. Enjoy. I just want to preface this by saying that this will be a little bit of a longer video. My intention is to share real and life-changing value. So if you're not able to sit through roughly 60 minutes, then maybe you don't deserve your dream body. Greatness always comes at a cost. This is not for men looking for some quick fix. This is for hardworking, dedicated, and committed individuals who pretty much have their life together, but just missing that one piece of the puzzle. This is for busy traveling men who are sick and tired of not having their dream body and need an approach that actually works for them and their lifestyle. And speaking of greatness, this is Kobe, a famous basketball player and one of my idols who tragically passed away in 2020. He's known to be one of the most hardworking athletes to ever live. He achieved amazing things. Just like Kobe, I too came from a sports background. Growing up, I played football and was actually pretty decent. In a skill-based sport, generally speaking, the more you do, the better you get. When I started my fitness journey, I applied that same way of thinking, but that's exactly where I went wrong. I did it the hard way. After making the most difficult decision I ever had to make by giving up my dream of becoming a professional football player after a series of injuries, I decided to go all out on this fitness thing. So I trained for 2 hours plus for 6 to 7 days a week, did additional vigorous cardio, followed a restrictive diet, and fitness pretty much controlled my life. I saw results. But it was far from enjoyable, and with me starting my business and also traveling a lot more, it was also no longer sustainable. And this is exactly why most people struggle to achieve their dream physique. They either get into fitness, try it the hard way, then end up in a never-ending cycle of inconsistency and not seeing results, which leads to frustration and eventually giving up because it's simply not sustainable. Or they don't start in the first place because they feel too overwhelmed, but as a result, they never feel what it's truly like to be on the other side. What it feels like to wake up every single day feeling like $1 million and have unlimited confidence, energy, ambition, and abundance. Or even worse, they end up having to deal with major health issues later in life. The hard way works for some, but it won't work for a lifestyle of being busy, traveling, and constantly being on the go. If that's you, I'm here to tell you it's not your fault and it doesn't have to be like this. In fact, what if I told you there was a way to see even better results with less time, effort, and sacrifice? And what if I told you that you are actually not that far away from achieving your dream body? If you know what you're doing, it doesn't take much time. You just need to do the right things the right way. But knowing what to do is the hardest part. Over almost the last decade, years of pain, trial and error, research, and thousands of dollars later, I figured it out the difficult way. I don't want anyone to have to go through that. So my goal today is to show you that there's another way. An easier way. A way where you can comfortably make fitness a part of your busy lifestyle with constantly being on the go, traveling, and most importantly, enjoying the journey while achieving remarkable results. In fact, I'm going to walk you through step by step so you can see and understand how simple it actually is. So here are the 3 steps. Step 1, have a plan. This will be your map to success. This will remove all the guesswork from your decision-making process and will prevent you from making the mistakes that lead most people to failure. With the right plan, reaching your goal is not a matter of if anymore, it becomes a matter of when. Step 2, how to execute the plan. The biggest reason people's lives never change is because they can't stick to the plan long enough to actually see the results. When it gets hard, they stop. If you want to get into movie star shape, you need to know how to get through these hard times and persevere. So in this step, I will not only be showing you how to stay on track through those hard times, but actually make it easy for yourself to execute the plan. Understanding this will be a game changer for you. And finally, step 3, how to be adaptable. As a busy traveling man, you are faced with constant challenges and obstacles the normal person doesn't have to deal with. You chose the unconventional path, which certainly makes it harder, but far from impossible. So in this final step, I'll be showing you how to adapt and deal with the inevitable challenges and obstacles that you will be facing along the way. Good news, it's a lot easier than you think once you know what you're doing. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get into the good stuff. Step 1, have a plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail. There are 3 crucial steps to creating a bulletproof plan that actually work for your specific lifestyle. And all 3 are important, but most people focus on the wrong thing. I used to too. I thought getting in shape was mainly about my training. Truth is though, that whether you're trying to put on muscle, lose fat, or both, your nutrition needs to be dialed in. I would even argue it's 80% of the game. But what is the best diet? This is a very controversial topic, and if you've paid somewhat attention to the nutrition science as a whole, you quickly realize that nobody agrees on anything. It can be very difficult to cut through all the noise. It certainly was for me. Should you eat carnivore diet? Do carbs make you fat? Should you fast? Are eggs bad for your cholesterol? Is gluten bad for you? Should you go vegan? A lot of different conflicting information. Look up any YouTuber who is advocating for a certain diet and you will find a link in the description selling their product. Everyone is trying to sell you their diet by throwing rocks at each other. Look, I get it. We're all trying to feed our families, but nutrition is something that can really have a big impact on your life, and just claiming that there's one size that fits all, in my opinion, is just not ethical. So here's the truth, no one will tell you. There is no best diet or work. It really doesn't matter. What's more important is understanding the key principles of what it means to have a good and nutritious diet that is aligned with your specific goals and is sustainable for your lifestyle. I will say that looking amazing, feeling amazing tastes better than any food out there, but an unrealistic diet can make it difficult to stick to, but also take away from other important areas of your life. Most people end up going way too extreme just because of something they saw some influencer on Instagram say or some guy on YouTube. For example, they follow diets that are excessively low in calories, have no cheat meals, are extremely low fat, do too much fasting, meat only for too long, vegan for too long, and the list goes on. In my opinion, going too extreme in any direction is just not sustainable, because here's what ends up happening. You try it for a little while, you can't stick to it, then you fall off, go back to your old habits, give up, and think that this fitness thing just isn't for you, and as a result, never reap the benefits of increased confidence, energy, abundance, and long-term health. All because one Instagram influencer told you that low carb is the way. And even if it works for a few months, what's the point of achieving great results if you're just gonna fall back to your old habits anyway because it's not sustainable long term? Instead, you need to find what works for you. This is crucial for your long-term success. My goal is to help you create harmony between your eating habits and your lifestyle. Speaking from experience, this is very possible. My nutrition is well balanced. I regularly travel, eat out, and even at home, I look forward to every single meal I have. So how can you do the same? I will say that if you don't care about your long-term health and you're okay with having major health issues later in life, this approach is not for you. But if your goal is both sustainability and long-term health, then a good way to go about this is to eat the foods you enjoy. Yes, you heard me correctly. Eat the foods you enjoy every single day. And also follow the 80-20 rule. All this is eating more nutrient-dense whole foods 80% of the time, and whatever your heart desires, the remaining 20%. Picture this. Imagine you could choose any car you wanted. Your favorite car in the world would be standing in front of your kitchen door tomorrow morning. But the catch is, that's the only car you'll ever get. Let me ask you, how well would you treat it? Well, you only have one body and one life. So think of your body like a car. It needs the proper fuel to function properly. Now you get the best of both worlds and you can actually start enjoying the journey while reaping the rewards. Exactly how to integrate eating out into your lifestyle, how to deal with the challenges of traveling and being on the go, and how to approach the 20% without going overboard, I'll be revealing in step 3. Did you know that you could follow the 80-20 rule, only eat healthy, but still not get into shape, still not lose weight? This is because too much of the good stuff is still too much. I like telling people, you could literally get fat off of broccoli. I will admit you'll have to eat a crazy amount, and as crazy as that sounds, but it's still possible. Most people are just not in control and have no idea how much food they are consuming, which is why they are stuck. Here's the thing. If you control the inputs, you can determine the outputs. And the best way to guarantee getting your dream body is to track your calories. It's like saving money. How are you ever going to save money if you have no idea how much you're spending? So what are calories and how many should you be consuming? In simple language, calories are energy we consume in the form of fats, carbohydrates, and proteins that are used for our body to function. You gain weight if you consume more than your body needs, and you lose weight when you consume less. So, if you're looking to lose weight, take your body weight in pounds and multiply it by 12. For a 200-pound individual, that would be 2,400 calories. If you're skinny and looking to gain weight, take your body weight in pounds and multiply it by 18. And if you're just trying to maintain, just multiply your body weight in pounds by 15. Tracking won't always be possible, especially when you're on the go or eating out at restaurants. Good news is there is a way to not track and still see results, which I'll be sharing in step 3. Now, what you don't want to do is not consume enough protein. Protein is essential for building and maintaining muscle, but also plays a role in many other body functions. And if you're trying to lose weight, it will also help keep you fuller for longer. Aim for about 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight as a general guide. And if you're overweight, multiply your height in centimeters times 1 gram, or take your goal weight in pounds times 0.7 to 1 gram. Now, what about carbs and fats? How important are those, and how much of those should you be consuming? As much as that is crucial to understand, I would be here the whole day if I went into all the nitty-gritty details. I mean, there's literally so much I could still unpack that would really help you. That said, I've created this entire document basically walking you through step by step the entire nutrition strategy you need to get into the best shape of your life as a busy traveling man. And I genuinely feel like it's better than most programs out there. And I want to give it to you for free. So if you want to, just DM me on Instagram with the word, or go with food. DM me with food on Instagram and I'll send it over to you. The second key component to having a bulletproof plan is your training routine. This might sound simple, but this is exactly where 90% of people go wrong. They think they can just show up to the gym without having a structured plan. They show up to the gym, do a bunch of random exercises, maybe do some extra cardio, feel good about themselves, but never get anywhere. It's like trying to win a football game without a game plan. And then they blame the game when they're just playing the game the wrong way. And we all know that guy who's been showing up to the gym for 5 years, 10 years, consistently, day in, day out. And you're thinking to yourself, what is he actually doing? Because he still looks exactly the same. To avoid that, the first component to having a successful routine is having a structured plan from start to finish. If you don't have this, it will be very difficult for you to see any type of results. But before you go out there and find some random routine from an app or famous bodybuilder or influencer, I need to give you a warning. For your specific lifestyle, you need something that's flexible and doesn't have you spend all day in the gym. Some are terrible options and others have the potential to change your life. And exactly which one I would recommend, I'll be sharing in a minute. Now, some might have a structured routine, but they are still stuck because they don't know how to progress properly. If you want your muscles to grow, you need to give them a reason to adapt. And the best way is through applying progressive overload. All this means is continuously adding tension to your muscle over time by either increasing the weight or the reps. And to do that, you need to stop being a little bitch and actually push yourself. And that's where it comes in handy to track your weights and your reps so you know how much you did the last session and so you can increase that accordingly. What my one-on-one clients use is my personal app, which allows them to easily track their progress, which not only helps with getting results, but is also pretty cool to look back after a few months and see how far you've come. For example, my client Brian, he started at 70 pounds for the machine shoulder press, and just 5 months later, he's at 200 pounds. That's almost 3 times as much. But he's not just strong. This is the transformation he achieved with us. Consistently adding muscle while losing fat. That's the power of doing the right things the right way. Or this is Elil, who had 100% increase in weight with the machine-seated row, going from 50 to 100 pounds in less than 3 months. And here's the crazy part, all while losing fat. This is how he's looking so far, and he's just getting started. And then they say you can't build muscle and lose fat at the same time. Now that you understand the first 2 key components to having a bulletproof plan, this final one is the most important for your specific lifestyle. You live an unconventional lifestyle, so it wouldn't make sense to follow the conventional approach. So what you need is a leveraged approach. What I mean by that is having a way that allows you to get the best results with the least amount of time, effort, and sacrifice. It's a concept and way of thinking the richest and most successful people in the world follow. For example, Warren Buffett has a net worth of $136.5 billion and works maybe 4 hours a week. How? By investing into billion-dollar companies like Coca-Cola, having a share and getting a percentage of the profit without doing anything. That's the power of leverage. It's the difference between what you put in and what you get out. Now you want to apply that same way of thinking to your health and fitness. And the first component is your nutrition. Since you simply won't have the time to spend hours in the kitchen, you need to find meals that are easy to cook and take along on the go, but are still extremely delicious and meet your overall calorie and protein goals. Another way to save time and reduce stress is to meal prep. A successful meal prepping strategy involves planning ahead, shopping efficiently, and preparing food in advance. Most people overcomplicate this. It's actually super simple once you know what you're doing. That said, as already mentioned, I have this entire document breaking down the exact step-by-step strategy you can literally just copy, paste into your own life. So as I said, if you want that, feel free to DM me the word, I went with food, right? DM me the word food on Instagram and I'll send it over to you for free. The second component to creating leverage is with your training, and there are 3 key elements to this. The first one, picking the right training split that actually works for your lifestyle. The worst thing you can do is choose a random routine from an app, or even worse, follow some Instagram workout from a famous bodybuilder or influencer that most likely isn't even natural. And here's why. The problem is that most of these programs are made for the masses and keep you in the gym for way too long, training for 2 hours plus and 6 days a week. Because that's just not realistic for your lifestyle, this leads to inconsistency, which leads to average results at best, which leads to frustration and results in burnout and eventually giving up. Fitness is supposed to enhance your life, not control it. If you're trying to be a massive 230-pound bodybuilder or look like one, you're simply watching the wrong video. This is for men who want to achieve a lean, healthy, athletic, and aesthetic physique. A natural body that allows you to comfortably move around and looks really good naked. So if that's you, not only will their approach not work for your specific lifestyle, but why would you want to train like a bodybuilder that most likely isn't even natural when you're natural and you probably don't even want to look like that? So the question is, what's the least amount of time you can spend at the gym while still maximizing results? I've been at this for close to a decade, and after pretty much trying every routine out there, there's one thing I've come to realize. More doesn't equal better, and most people simply overdo it, as I did too for the longest time. Recovery is key, as this is when your muscles adapt and get stronger. Research has shown that the optimal range seems to be around 10 to 20 working sets per muscle per week. Doing more than 20 will lead to recovery issues for most. This is still a very wide range, but most beginners and intermediate lifters can get away with less than 10 sets and still get the majority of the potential gains. This is because within the first few years of lifting, given you train with the right intensity and technique, your body doesn't need that much stimulus. More than that, the amount of muscle you can gain only gets marginally better with every set you add, as most of the damage is already done. So it's not that more volume wouldn't necessarily be better, it's just that more will only give you minimal returns for the invested time until at a certain point it even hurts your growth. I would even argue that optimizing your technique and intensity is more important than adding additional sets. That said, what we are looking for is that sweet spot. And if I had to point to one routine that is the most effective in the least amount of time, it's the 3-day full body split with 45 to 60-minute sessions. This allows me to get enough training volume to still maximize results without living in the gym. And if you think about it, that's pretty much spending less than 3 hours a week in the gym. I mean, how cool does that sound? And the reason this is so effective for the busy traveling man is because, first of all, as mentioned, you only spend 3 hours a week in the gym. Additionally, it's extremely flexible because it doesn't matter when you do the workouts as long as you do them. This is because the volume per session is less, which allows you to recover in time even if you have a session the very next day. This means that you can move the workout around your schedule as opposed to missing 2 leg days in a row because Mondays are always so crazy. Most people don't know this, but before steroids were invented, bodybuilders only did full body routines, and here's why. Protein synthesis, or muscle building, only lasts for about 48 hours after resistance training. So if you're training one body part once per week, you're missing out on 5 days of muscle growth. Splits were invented after steroids were invented because protein synthesis lasted longer when you're on steroids. So it made more sense to demolish a muscle group once or twice per week. But with the full body split, you get to train all the muscles more often throughout the week, taking advantage of the rested state more often, and so maximizing overall muscle growth. Fun fact, Alex Hormozi, a 9-figure entrepreneur, and King Keto, a multiple 7-figure entrepreneur who's also really big in the fitness space, both swear by this split. It's also the exact routine I follow to get into peak condition for a bodybuilding competition. So if you're doing way more and you're still not where you want to be, you're probably doing something wrong. And to prove to you that anyone can do this, don't just take me as an example. This is Sean, a 31-year-old software engineer. Before Sean joined, he was training 6 days a week for 2 hours plus, and although he loved the idea of working out 3 hours a week, his main concern was that he genuinely wasn't sure if this approach would work for him.
I was working out 6 days a week. I was like, damn, this is stressful. I have no time for myself. And this actually cuts the time in half, which results in more time for myself and doing other things.
He took a bet on himself anyway, and after implementing this exact routine and pretty much cutting his training volume in half, over the next 16 weeks, he gained a significant amount of muscle, all while losing fat. Or take Nadim, a 52-year-old traveling lawyer from San Antonio. Nadim had been working out pretty much his whole life up until this point with hardly anything to show for it. Chances are you might be in a similar boat. After setting him up with the right routine, here are the remarkable results he achieved after only 3 months with us. That's the power of following a proven system. Most people think it takes years to achieve remarkable results, But if you're doing the right things, your life can change in a matter of months. What would that be worth to you? How would you feel if you achieved similar results with only spending 3 hours a week in the gym? Wouldn't that be awesome? What could you do with that extra time? Spend more time with your loved ones? Do more activities you enjoy? Or maybe going to the beach, but instead of feeling embarrassed, actually being proud when you take your shirt off. But I mean, let's really think about this. You're probably ambitious. What if you spent all that time making more money? Because you have more confidence, more drive, people respect you more. Don't you think you'd be able to make more money? What would an extra $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year or even a month mean to you? What would that do for you? What would that do to your family? That's the power of leverage. And good news is, anyone can achieve this. I mean, anyone. That said, the second element is something most people completely leave out, which is also why they don't see results. You now know that the 3-day full body split is the best routine for your specific lifestyle, but that also means you'll be doing less overall training volume than most routines. With less volume, you need to compensate in other areas, which is why your form and technique will be of the utmost importance. Most people's technique is awful. I see this in the gym every day. The problem with that is that not only will you see less results, but you're also increasing the likelihood of getting injured. And there's nothing worse than being injured when trying to get into the best shape of your life. Conversely, if your technique is dialed in, it's like having a Lambo as opposed to a Toyota. You just get to your goal so much quicker. That said, this third and final element might shock you. When I said 3-hour workout weeks of 45 to 60 minute sessions, I meant 3-hour workout weeks of 45 to 60 minute sessions, meaning no additional vigorous cardio. If you hate doing vigorous cardio and you're still doing it, stop. You don't need to. Like stop. Now I know what you might be thinking. Wait, what? Isn't cardio good to lose weight? Well, yes, but there's a way better approach. I've been there. I used to do hours of cardio and I hated it. And honestly, if I would have known what I'm about to reveal to you, man, my life would have been so much easier. So as mentioned earlier, if you consume less calories than you burn, you lose weight. And if you consume more calories than you burn, you gain weight. It's that simple. But here's what no one tells you. Instead of increasing your energy expenditure with cardio, you could just eat a little bit less and achieve the same results. To give you a better understanding, consider this. Let's say you wanted to burn an extra 500 calories. You could either spend 30 to 45 minutes doing vigorous cardio in addition to your weight training, or you could just say no to a single Krispy Kreme donut, which has similar calories. Now, am I saying that you should not be active or do cardio or never have a donut? No, I actually think you should have a Krispy Kreme donut. They're super delicious, but understanding this will give you the option, and being in control with your nutrition gives you that. And with your specific lifestyle, this is definitely something to keep in mind. Now, if you're thinking, I don't want to eat less food, I mean, that's totally cool. What I've noticed is that whenever I do vigorous cardio, afterwards, I just feel like super hungry, and I feel like just overeating. And most of the time, that's what would happen. I would overeat because it makes sense. Your body just emptied all the energy stores and it wants to replenish it. On the other hand, if I don't do vigorous cardio, I just don't feel that hungry throughout the day, which allows me to stick to my calorie goal and as a result, lose the weight. So not only do you save time, but you save money because you're spending less on food. And then you could also argue that time is money. And to prove to you that this works, I got stage ready for my bodybuilding competition, as already mentioned, without doing any vigorous cardio. But being active is great for your overall health. So here's what I would suggest instead. Firstly, going on walks. Walks are great to get out into the fresh air, get some sunlight, and the best part is you don't even feel that tired or super hungry afterwards. 10,000 steps is a great goal to aim for. I like combining my walks with, for example, taking meetings or simple hacks like parking the car further away from the entrance or even walking to the grocery store instead of driving. Or if you have a gym in the building, you could go on the incline treadmill while listening to a podcast or something like that. If you're stuck at your desk all day, there's something I recently discovered that will absolutely change your life. And that's a bike desk, or you can get a smaller pedal trainer. Cool thing is, it's very low intensity, which means you hardly notice it. And let's say you do it for 8 hours, that's a lot of calories right there. And if you're privileged enough to work on a standing desk, you can also get yourself a small treadmill. These are awesome too, and will make hitting the 10K steps an absolute cakewalk. Now you might be thinking, losing weight without any vigorous cardio is easy for you to say. You're young, you've got a good metabolism. Well, you're right. But at the end of the day, it's still a math equation. And to prove to you that anyone can do this is Jeffrey, a 44-year-old business owner from Denver. With his busy lifestyle, he needed a proven and predictable workout routine without spending too much time in the gym. And that's exactly what we set up for him. This was his starting point. And as of right now, things are really starting to come together nicely. Abs are just a matter of time at this point. And if you're like, that must be an exception. This is John, a 60-year-old business owner from South Africa. John is pretty much sedentary and doesn't like doing cardio at all. And since joining, he already lost 15 pounds in less than a month without doing any vigorous cardio. Keep in mind, he's 60. Talk about not making excuses about metabolism. But more than that, to use his words, he is feeling the best he has in 30 years. How incredible is that? And not to bore you, but this is Daniel, a pilot who pretty much sits for 12-hour shifts, and he dropped over 10 pounds in just over a month. Can you now see how anyone can do this? At this point, you know that you need to have a clear and specific plan with your nutrition and your training. And you understand that if you want to make it work for your busy, unpredictable lifestyle, you also need to have a leveraged approach, meaning you need to have a way that can get you more results with less time, effort, and sacrifice. This puts you ahead of 70% of people, but it won't matter if you don't actually follow the plan. So step 2 is actually execute the plan. Now you might be thinking, that's the easiest part, right? I just have to do the things. Wrong. Most people never get to their goal because they just can't stick to something long enough to actually see the results. So next, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can guarantee success by ensuring that you actually execute the plan. And there are 2 crucial steps you need to follow. The first step is having some form of accountability. One thing I've noticed is that us humans are horrible at keeping promises we make to ourselves, but are pretty good most of the time at keeping promises we make to other people. Now we want to use that to our advantage, and there's 4 ways to do that. Firstly, schedule your workouts into your calendar. If you treat your workout like a meeting, you'll be more likely to show. Now, of course, you're still relying on willpower, but you're making it more likely. This will work for some people, but not for most. So secondly, I would suggest getting an accountability partner. Whether that's your life partner, your friend, your dog. Okay, probably not your dog, but you get the point. The reason this works so well is because us humans, we don't want to be seen as inconsistent or someone that doesn't stick to their word. Now, by getting an accountability partner, you're no longer making it just about yourself, and having that accountability and making it bigger than yourself, you're more likely to show because you don't want to be seen as that inconsistent person, that person that doesn't stick to their word. Thirdly, you could also join a community of like-minded individuals. When I started my entrepreneurial journey, I went through some very dark and lonely times. And I found communities, paid and free, to get around people who were like-minded, who were on the same path as me, so I can be around them, but also learn from them if they were ahead of me. And it paid off massively. Fun fact, I actually met my 2 business partners in a community like that. Let's face it, the reality is that most people are okay with being average. And I know if you're watching this video, that's not you. So sharing the journey with other people who are on a similar path, who can relate, make showing up so much easier. And who knows, you might end up meeting someone that might change your life forever, just like I did. That said, if you want to join a community of high achievers, of other career-driven men who can actually relate to you, I have this free community you can join with the link in the description. In this community, you'll be getting a ton of free value, and we'll also very soon be hosting challenges where the men with the best transformations have the opportunity to win awesome prizes like $25,000 in cash, which at the time of you watching this video might already be happening. We don't let everyone in, as the goal is for you to only be around people who are like-minded. So if you're an ambitious man who's looking to get into shape, click the link in the description and we'll see if you're a good fit. And finally, you could hire a coach. At the age of 14, my father tragically passed away. This made me understand from a young age that the most valuable resource we have is our time. Most people learn this way too late in life, only when time starts getting scarce. Reality is, you can find $5 on the ground, but you'll never find 1 minute anywhere. I personally spent over $30,000 on coaching. From my own experience, this is the best way to get ahead in life. It's a big reason why my life changed so drastically in a matter of just 3 years. I went from a broke, out of shape college dropout to getting absolutely shredded and achieving financial, time, and location freedom, which allows me to live my dream life, travel the world, and most recently moving here to beautiful Dubai. I paid with money to get the lessons, knowledge, and years of experience to help me collapse time. I modeled people who were ahead of me to shortcut my path to success. Could I have gotten there on my own? Sure, maybe. But why would I want to go through all that pain, trial and error, time, if I could just collapse time and get there faster, get the experience and the guidance of people who've done it and people who are ahead of me? Now, were there some things that didn't quite work out as well as I'd hoped? Sure, but more thinking wasn't going to change anything. Us humans tend to look for this one thing that's going to change everything for us, when in reality, that's a fallacy. It's not one silver bullet, it's 1,000 golden BBs. When you started primary school, you first had to learn simple maths before you could learn algebra, right? Now, you may give credit to that teacher who taught you algebra, and rightfully so, but that would have never been possible without the teacher that taught you the simple things. The knowledge and experiences build on top of each other, almost like a bridge. You don't just have one brick to get to the other side. You need multiple, right? It's not, will this thing or coach get me what I want? It's, will it get me closer? So worst case, I still got closer to my goal, but more importantly, I actually took action and believed in myself. Because for me, there's nothing worse than looking back at my life when I'm 80 with regret on the things that I could have and should have done because I was too afraid of believing in myself and taking a stand for myself. To get what you want, you either need to pay with your time or with your money. What do you think the most successful people do? Yes, they pay with their money because they can always make more. Along with giving you the guidance and the game plan, a good coach holds your feet to the fire. And unlike a friend, a good coach tells you what you need to hear as opposed to what you want to hear. Along with that, I know when I pay attention. And the more I pay, the closer I pay attention. And this became very clear to me when I hired not one, but 2 coaches for my bodybuilding competition. Or take Afi, a nurse from Canada, who really had to stretch to make it work financially. And this is the awesome transformation he achieved after less than 3 months with us. It's just different when you invest into something because you actually take it seriously. And what better investment can you make than into your health? What's the point of buying a house, a Lambo, or going on vacation when you're not even healthy enough to enjoy it? What's the point of anything if you wake up every single day feeling like shit, dreading looking into the mirror, being uncomfortable in your own skin? Or even worse, having major health issues later in life where you're not even healthy enough to move around properly or play with your grandkids. So if you want to shorten your path to success, collapse time, get the guidance and game plan you need to ensure your success, there's a link in the description below this video to book in a call with me directly to see if you're a good fit to work with us. Accountability is great, but what happens when you're alone and there's no one watching? I mean, how often have you felt like having a midnight snack? Or you're sitting on the couch watching TV and you really feel like having some ice cream. And then you convince yourself you'll just have one or two, and before you know it, you've eaten the whole freaking packet, right? Trust me, I know what it's like. I've been there. So where most people go wrong in these situations is they simply rely on willpower, and then they inevitably fold like a cheap chair, and then they tell themselves, man, I just don't have the discipline, and then life never changes. I've been there. I too used to think that the most successful people just had more willpower or more discipline. I was wrong, and I'll let you in on a little secret. The most successful people just make it easier for themselves to succeed. That said, the second step is to create your ideal environment. This is probably the highest return on investment thing you can do right now. Like, this one shift will change so much for you. The thinking framework is you want to create friction between the things that aren't aligned with your goals and decrease friction between the things that will help you get there. You want to create your conditions for success. So for example, instead of having junk food at home, get rid of it. Could you still go to the store and get junk food? Sure, but you're making it less likely. You are increasing the friction between the thing you don't want to do, between the thing that is not aligned with your goal. And instead of choosing a gym that's completely out of your way, choose a gym that's 5 minutes away or on your way to work or home. Now you are decreasing friction between you and the gym, making it more likely that you'll go and ultimately achieve your dream physique. Another way to think about this is, what would your environment need to look like to guarantee failure? Now, just reverse that. Make it unreasonable for you not to succeed. Combining having a plan that's both efficient and effective for your lifestyle and ensuring that you execute the plan through accountability and creating your ideal environment, you are going from out of shape, lost, clueless, and seemingly lacking discipline to making your dream physique a matter of time. But wait, there's one big problem we haven't considered. Usually when my clients get to this part of the formula, their number one concern is, what do they do when they're on the road, traveling, and moving from hotel to hotel? What foods do you eat when you're on the road? How do you make the right choices? Or what if you only have access to a hotel gym with minimal equipment? Or even worse, you're stuck in your hotel room. This leads us to the final step. Step 3, how to be adaptable. This is where most people fail. They simply don't know how to eat on the go. If that's you, I'm here to tell you it's not your fault. There's simply not much helpful information out there. I struggled with this for the longest time. When I searched travel and eating out tips, I was honestly astonished to see how little I found. Chances are you feel the same way. But in order to make it work and get your dream body while traveling and constantly being on the go, it's crucial for you to understand how to navigate through these situations with both your training and your nutrition. Starting off with nutrition. Here we have 3 key elements that make up a successful eating out strategy. When you're on the go, you're constantly exposed to a lot of temptation. So the first key is to make the right choices. But how? The best investors and decision makers talk about having frameworks and mental models to help them take the emotions out of it and so allow them to make better decisions. My framework for eating on the go is, firstly, is it delicious? Why would I eat something I don't like? Secondly, can I track the calories? This gives me so much more mental clarity because I know exactly what's going into my body. And finally, does it have a good calorie to protein ratio? All you do is divide the calories by the grams of protein. The lower the number, the better. As a general guide, anything below 20 is pretty good. This helps me easily hit my protein goal. Most bigger food chains will give you the calories and macros. You'll also be surprised to see how many restaurants you'll find on the food tracking app MyFitnessPal, which makes it super easy to stay on track. And if you're in a rush and you decide to get packed food from a gas station, you can easily scan the barcode and it'll give you the exact numbers, which is pretty cool. Reality is you won't always be able to track, and that's totally cool. Just make sure to be mindful of what you're consuming. Choose restaurants that offer a variety of options, including salads, grilled proteins, and vegetables. Also keep in mind portion sizes. I would recommend staying away from highly processed foods and avoiding words like fried, glazed, sauteed, or breaded. However, keeping the 80-20 rule in mind I alluded to earlier is a great way to get the best of both worlds. Now, of course, there's so much more to it, and there's literally so much more I could still get into. So if you have any additional questions, just make sure to DM me on Instagram, and I'll make sure to help you out. Another thing to consider is if you're dining at a hotel, calling the hotel ahead of time to make sure they meet your needs and requirements. But maybe you also just want to let loose once in a while. Have a cheap meal and not worry too much. Or maybe you're just out for a business dinner and you're having a few drinks on top of a delicious meal. I promise you right now, once you start looking and feeling like $1,000,000, you won't care what it takes to maintain that. But what if I told you that there was a way to do both? To still eat the foods your heart desires every single day and stay on track. Sound too good to be true? I get it, but I'm here to prove you wrong. And I've heard no one talk about this, which leads me on to my second key element. The calorie bank method. What do you do when you want to buy something special like a new suit or even a new car? You cut expenses elsewhere and you start saving for that, right? Well, the same principle applies to your health and fitness. You save your calories for the upcoming event. For example, the other day I knew I was going out for dinner later that evening, and what I did was follow a simple framework. Fast for the first few hours of the day, then the foods I do consume have a good calorie to protein ratio. And finally, I make sure to not go over 1,000 calories before the event. With my maintenance being at around 2,600 calories, that means I still had 1,600 left to spend at the dinner. That's quite a lot of room for a juicy steak, fries, and even a dessert. And eating less throughout the day just won't be as difficult because you have that event to look forward to. But if you struggle with that and you want to eat more throughout the day, you can just apply that same principle on a weekly scale. It's called the weekly calorie bank method. This works really well if you know you're going out a few days in advance. All you do is eat about 200 to 300 calories below your current calories a few days before and save them for the event. Sounds simple, but as you may know, life is unpredictable and I want you to be prepared for all scenarios. Let's say for whatever reason you decide to go fuck it mode, which I don't recommend, but let's say you did and you completely overdid it. Most people get stuck here and overthink it. Here's what you don't want to do. Starve yourself for the next few days, do hours of cardio because you're feeling the guilt, or even worse, eat more and completely give up because of one slip up. Trust me, I've been there, but don't do that. And that brings me to the third and final element. How to bounce back. My advice is don't panic and literally just get back to your normal calories. And to put your mind at ease, in order for you to gain 2 pounds of pure fat, you would need to eat around 7,700 calories in addition to your maintenance, which is hard to do even if you tried. So if you wake up after a great night out and you're like 5 pounds heavier, just know that that's not fat. It's mostly water weight. Now, if you wanted to speed up the process a little bit, you could also reverse engineer the weekly calorie bank method by just reducing your calorie goal by 200 to 300 for the following days. It's that simple. But what's not quite as simple is getting in an effective workout on the go. When traveling, you're often faced with obstacles like hotel gyms that barely have any proper equipment, or even worse, you're stuck in a hotel room. What most people end up doing in these situations is either not train at all or just do cardio because they don't know how to use the equipment that is available, which inevitably keeps them stuck and frustrated. If you don't want that, in order to still see remarkable results while traveling, you need to know how to navigate through these situations as they'll inevitably show up. Starting off with minimal equipment workouts. When searching online, you simply won't find much about this. Like for example, what do you do when you only have access to 30-pound dumbbells when you can already chest press 50 pounds? I've personally lived in 6 countries over the past 2 years and I've traveled all over the world, so I know a thing or two that will help you out. There are 3 key things to keep in mind here, and all 3 are crucial. The first thing you need to understand is what exercises to choose with the equipment you have available. There are certain exercises that will still allow you to push yourself effectively with less weight. A great example is the Bulgarian split squat. You really don't need much weight to feel your legs burn. What we do with a lot of our traveling clients is they let us know ahead of time what gym they'll be going to, and then based on that, we customize a program specific to that. That way they can just hop off the plane, they know exactly what to do when they head to the gym, as opposed to being lost and wasting a bunch of time doing research. The second key thing to keep in mind is having the correct form and execution. This is even more important when you don't have access to the best machines, as you still want to get the most bang for buck. And finally, slowing down the movement during the negative portion of the exercise, so on the way down. This is key for situations where you only have access to light weights. Most people just don't do this, but if you can put your ego aside and really control the weight for 3 to 5 seconds on the way down, you really don't need that much weight. You see, the main driver for muscle growth is not how much weight you lift, but how much tension you create that will then create stimulus to give your muscles a reason to adapt and get bigger. And by slowing down the movement on the way down, you increase the tension without needing to add weight. If you do this, you will be humbled, but I promise you, you'll look great. Now you might be asking, what if I'm stuck in a hotel room? Well, there's a solution, and I genuinely feel like no one is talking about it. It's resistance band workouts. You will be pleasantly surprised to see how much you can get out of a simple resistance band. But it's crucial to understand how to train the right way. Because even if you have the band and you have the exercises, it's super crucial for you to know how to use them to actually see results. In addition, you can also do body weight exercises. I actually have a background in calisthenics, which allows me to come up with creative solutions no matter your strength level. For example, here's Bill, a 60-year-old business owner from Boston. Bill is one of the busiest people I know. He travels a ton, and before he joined, he wasn't even sure if he would be able to do a single workout a week. Not only did we break that belief for him by implementing travel solutions, but he's also already looking unrecognizable. Already 15 pounds down in just over a month, and I'm genuinely confident that we will see his abs. Keep in mind, he's 60. Can you now see how this can work for any situation? So there's a lot we covered today, and one or many of these key components might just be the missing link to you achieving your dream physique. You now understand that you need to have a clear and specific plan with your training and nutrition that's both efficient and effective for your lifestyle. You know how to execute the plan through getting the accountability you need and creating your ideal environment, and you've learned that knowing how to be adaptable is super crucial for being on the go, traveling, and living a busy lifestyle. Just knowing these 3 steps easily puts you ahead of 99% of busy traveling men. That's pretty cool, right? If you could just take one thing out of this video, it's this. I view achieving an athletic aesthetic body kind of like climbing a mountain. And if you want to successfully reach the top of the mountain, you need 2 things. A map to show you the directions and safety ropes that prevent you from falling down. You need these because 2 things will inevitably happen. You'll get lost and you'll fall off. But with a map, you'll always find your way back to the trail. And with safety ropes, even if you do fall, you'll still get back up. Now what I just shared with you is a tiny part of the map. Now, it's time for me to give you the full map. Unfortunately, I can't record and upload a 20-hour-long YouTube video, and even if I were able to, it would still be hard for me to cover all that I can give you. No matter how good anyone is, one 60-minute video is not going to change your life. I mean, if you're a pilot or a doctor, to know what you know, you studied for years. Now imagine you had to compress all of that knowledge and experience into one 60-minute video. Very hard to do. And all while everything I've given to you today is valuable, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And if you liked what I shared with you so far, you'll love what I have for you next. The result of close to a decade being in the space, the accumulated knowledge of studying, spending thousands of dollars on experts, and everything I know about training and nutrition from my own experience, it's with great pleasure for me to introduce you to lazy shredding. Lazy shredding is the complete map you need in order to get into movie star shape as a busy traveling man. The map involves a clear trail from the bottom to the top of the mountain. If you have a clear path from point A to point B, reaching the top and achieving your dream physique just becomes a matter of time. But since we're all different, a generic map won't work. So what we do for our clients is we set them up with a proven predictable system that's tailored specific to them, and we do this by taking them through 3 phases. All 3 are crucial, and I'm going to give them to you now. The first phase is called the priming phase. Here, we focus on building the foundations. Most programs completely leave this out, but this is super important for your long-term success. The deeper and wider the foundations, the taller the building. What that means in practice is you'll be set up with a tailored game plan for both your training and your nutrition. For the nutrition side of things, you'll have a certified nutritionist to hold your hand throughout the entire process. You'll be provided with a personalized nutrition plan specific to your preferences and lifestyle, while keeping in mind how much time you have to cook and what times you're able to eat. What this does, it takes all the thinking and guesswork away from you. We take care of that for you. Your time is way too valuable to be thinking about what and how much to eat. Cheat meals won't be necessary as you'll already enjoy every single meal you eat. But that said, if that's something you want, we'll comfortably help you integrate those as well. Take Jake, for example, who when starting out clearly stated that he loves bread and pastries. Not only did we help him integrate those into his meal plan, but these are the results he achieved after 2 months in the program. Almost 10 pounds down while putting on lean muscle. As a bonus, which I feel like most programs don't even mention, is we help you avoid those midday crashes and make sure you're on top of your work game all the time by giving you peak performance nutrition guidance. Since we have a lot of traveling clients like pilots and other professions, and it's pretty much what we specialize in, should you be traveling, you'll also be set up with travel guidance and support to help you stay on track wherever you may be in the world. For example, this is Jesse, a 50-year-old flight attendant from Philadelphia. Since joining, he's 20 pounds down and his belly is shrinking by the day. Or this is Oliver, a private jet pilot from Germany who naturally flies to really cool places all over the world, but never really felt too confident going on beaches and taking his shirt off. After working with us, he put on lean muscle while losing fat, and more importantly, now feels super confident in public. I mean, look at the dude. So happy for him. And Adam, a 35-year-old managing director who constantly travels all over the US for work, was really struggling with consistency due to all the challenges that come with being on the go. His goal for the program was to look really good for his vacation coming up in Hawaii 3 months later. After going from this to this in just 3 months, I think we helped him achieve that. And should you not be traveling, you'll still be given the eating out strategy that will allow you to enjoy life while comfortably edging closer to your goal. This phase is primarily focused on fat loss, but if you're on the skinnier side, we'll of course adjust accordingly. What this looks like for your training is you'll be set up with a tailored training program that takes into consideration your current strength level, past experience, as well as your specific goals and what muscle groups you want to emphasize. We help mold you into the body of your dreams. You'll be set up with the best split out there for your lifestyle, the 3-day full body split. By having short and effective workouts, being too busy will be a problem of the past, and you'll go from dreading going to the gym to actually looking forward to it and seeing even better results than most others who are still spending 6 days a week for 2 hours plus in the gym. Cardio won't be necessary, but if you enjoy it, it's not an issue. We'll smoothly integrate it into your program. The main focus for the priming phase is to help you learn the correct form, technique, and develop a proper mind-muscle connection. To make sure you dialed in on that end, you'll receive a comprehensive exercise video walkthrough from myself. This is not only crucial to make the best progress possible, as I explained earlier in step 1, but also to avoid injuries. A ton of work went into these. I've seen other programs and I can confidently say that ours are one of the best out there. There's a reason we see the results that we do. Just having access to these you'll have better form and technique than 99% of people. But we don't just stop there. To make sure we don't miss anything, you'll be provided with detailed video feedback from one of our expert coaches. Now you might be thinking, will the online thing work even if I've never stepped foot into a gym? Well, this is Ed. He had the exact same concerns. But more than that, at the time he joined, he was 63 years old and had never seen weights in his life. This was his transformation 1 month in, losing 15 pounds. But more than that, we showed him the ropes in the gym as a complete beginner while taking his age into consideration. The reason this literally works for anyone is because we won't make you start off with a deadlift if you've never even seen a barbell. In other words, we help you crawl before you can walk. Along with that, we focus on exercises that have a good stimulus to fatigue ratio. In short, focusing on exercises that help your muscles grow in the best way possible without putting too much strain on your joints. And if you travel, you'll be set up with personal training solutions based on the equipment you have available. This means you'll hop off the plane, head to the hotel gym, know exactly what to do without being lost or needing to think about it. And if you're only able to work out in a hotel room or at home, we'll help you with that too by implementing some of the strategies alluded to earlier. For example, this is Nathan, a 43-year-old director of marketing and communication for a Fortune 500 aviation company who, just like pilots, is constantly traveling all over the world and has to deal with new environments all the time. Before he joined, he worked with another online program for 3 years with hardly any results. And after just 2 months with us, he's 15 pounds down and already looking like a completely different person. And this is Chris, a 39-year-old real estate agent from Florida who before joining was not sure if this would be the right time. He had a lot of events coming up with travel and unpredictability and was honestly skeptical if we could make it work. I told him busy is the best time because if you can figure it out when you're busy, you'll be good for the rest of your life. I remember we had that conversation, right, about 4 months ago. And it was really like a tough conversation for me because I knew I could help you, right? What would you tell that Chris in that moment, sitting on the verge of joining the program?
Yeah, I think for me too, back then it was all about the holidays were going to be within that 4 months. Then it's going to be into, mid-December when it ends. So we've got Thanksgiving and, I'm a big football guy. So football season's coming and, have football parties and eat. I knew all those were going to be the distractors. That was my biggest thing. I really wasn't going to, I think it was going to be a thing where I was going to do it in January. Where I'm at now and where I was then, I think the main thing would have been the fact that I think I made the best decision. It's definitely was the best decision to do it then. Said something and it stuck with me, and that's what made me make the decision, was the fact that it's easy to say, oh, I'll do it then. But then when that time comes again, it's easy to keep pushing it back. So if you just commit and just do it now, it'll be better that way.
Here's what he achieved in 16 weeks. Coming in on the heavier side, he lost 20 pounds while putting on lean muscle. More than that, he's feeling amazing. His clothes fit better and his confidence has skyrocketed. The second phase is called the ascension phase. This is where things get exciting. You'll have lost a ton of fat and you already look like a brand new human being. For example, this is Jordan, who travels all over the world for work, and one of his biggest struggles before joining was eating on the go. Just 1 month into the program and his belly fat pretty much disappeared. And this is Joe, who came to us with a little more weight to lose, and after taking him through the priming phase, he dropped a whopping 18 pounds in literally just over a month. Can you see how quickly your life can change if you get the guidance you need? You'll not only be looking totally different, but more importantly, you'll be feeling really good about yourself. Your confidence and energy will be on a different level. You'll start to feel more comfortable taking your shirt off in public again, and you'll start to feel a sense of pride into who you're becoming. From here, things become so much easier because you've built the right habits, and once you start seeing results, it's so much easier to keep going. You'll have built a bunch of momentum, and since you're now super dialed in with the correct training form and technique, the goal for this phase is to put on as much lean muscle onto your frame as possible. In order to do that, we'll be upping the training intensity and making the necessary tweaks to your tailored training program to ensure you're maximizing progress. To make sure you're properly fueled for the new training intensity, depending on your starting point and the progress so far, more food will be added to your personalized nutrition plan. Generally though, the team and I make adjustments to your meal plan whenever we see fit to help you see the best results. The final phase is called the aesthetic phase. This is the last piece to the puzzle. This is where everything comes together. The goal here is to lean you out and really see some definition. This means your nutrition will be slightly more fat loss focused, while on the training side of things, we'll be adding advanced techniques in order to continue maximizing progress. Then, to make sure your physique is proportionate, we'll be working on the aesthetic weak points as well as adding more ab exercises to see them pop as soon as possible. At this point, there's no doubt you look really good, but we want you to look even better. So towards the end of the phase, I'll personally teach you how to pose the right way. Knowing how to do this properly makes a massive difference. And since I hired 2 coaches for my bodybuilding competition, I definitely know a thing or two about this that will help you out. The way you'll look at the end of this phase really depends on your starting point. You might have lost majority of your belly fat and you might see your chest and triceps pop for the first time in your life, or you might be absolutely shredded. And speaking of shredded, this is Petros, who during his time with us went through residency on his way to becoming a doctor. Joining was not only a stretch for him financially, but residency is arguably more time consuming than actually being a doctor. So naturally, he had concerns if this would even work out. He took a bet on himself, and here are the awesome results he achieved in 16 weeks. Going from lost, out of shape, with no direction, to putting on lean muscle, seeing his abs, and feeling on top of the world.
I definitely feel like it's built confidence. I feel sexually better, and I generally feel like I just want to be the person I want to be, you know, and rather than imagining it, kind of manifesting it and doing it. Psychologically, I think it's made me feel a lot better about myself. I think it's the best thing I could have done for myself this year, honestly. Like, I think work is work.
Well, let's take Dean, who as of right now is in the aesthetic phase, and since joining, he's already down close to 30 pounds. He has been an absolute consistency machine. He is looking great, and I'm really happy for him. One thing is for certain, if you follow this map I just laid out to you, you will be unrecognizable. More than that, you'll have done it in the most effective and efficient way possible, a way that is actually suited to your lifestyle and is sustainable in the long run. And to really understand the power of this map, take Jai, a 43-year-old traveling managing director for a real estate company from London. What we achieved with this gentleman is truly awesome. Jai came to us not looking too great, had challenges with eating on the go, and had tried some things like CrossFit in the past. He didn't really feel that confident in the way he looked. Chances are you feel the same way. And after just 16 weeks with us, he went from skinny fat to achieving his dream body. A lean, aesthetic, and athletic body. Just 16 weeks. I mean, how do you think that impacted his confidence, his energy, his dating life? I mean, hear it for yourself.
It definitely has improved my mental health as well. I feel a lot more confident just in general.
Where? Like
Just
socially at work?
Yeah,
Yeah.
socially, at work. Yeah, I just feel a lot more confident. With dating and things, like I'm less like worried about going on a date. Like if I go on a date, I'm not like before I used to get quite sort of like doubting myself, or am I good enough for this person, etc. And now I'm going to a date a lot more confident, and I'm actually, if I don't like the person, then fine, I don't like, you know, it's not like I need this validation.
Abundance mindset. Yeah.
So that's definitely something that I've noticed. And at work, I have a highly stressed job, and I've just been a lot more confident at work in dealing with that situation. Like I haven't let it phase me as much, and I've been able to take leadership in certain situations, whereas previously I might have been a little bit more of a wallflower and been a bit quiet and gone in the background and thought, okay, I'm not going to get too involved, just let this happen. And I feel now I'm feeling more confident to actually say, well, look, I think we need to do it this way. And I'm speaking up more. So these things are like almost more, I mean, of course, I'm happy with my body, but these side things are very valuable as well, right? So
And do you think if he did it, that you could have that success as well? What would that be worth to you? I mean, just think about how your life would look like if you achieved similar results. How much more confidence, energy, drive, and ambition would you have? How would that translate into everything else you do? Your relationships, your dating life, your job? How would you feel if you woke up every single morning feeling like you could conquer the world? Getting in shape shows that you have drive, commitment, dedication, resilience, and control over your mind. It shows that you have respect for your own body. Because of that, other people will respect you, what you say, and follow your lead. But we don't just stop there. You see, a lot of programs, they might give you a good transformation, but you're still stuck without them. Reality is that statistically speaking, within 3 years after someone losing weight, 94% regain their initial weight or more. With us, that won't happen. We'll give you the tools you need to be good on your own.
I don't even have to think about it. It's kind of automatic. And I think that's one of the big benefits of doing this program, I think, is that you just build that consistency and then it becomes innate in how you need to adjust.
I like that you mentioned the ability to bounce back because life is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And do you feel like you have the knowledge now to know how to bounce back?
Yeah, definitely. And I guess with Maya, and the coaching from her, I've kind of picked that up as well.
We will literally teach you everything you need. More importantly, how to do it in a sustainable way that's best for your long-term success. Now you might be wondering, why would we do that? Because we rely on referrals, not renewals. If you walk away from this program telling 5 other people how insane your transformation was, how insane your experience was, that is our mission accomplished. This is really important to us since we want to give you long-term health and longevity, which most people never achieve. It's one thing to have the map, but life is unpredictable, and this is where most people get stuck. What do you do when you stop losing weight and hit a plateau? Or you're just not making any progress in the gym anymore? That said, along with the map, the second thing you need is safety ropes. We have these safety ropes to avoid you from falling down. A personal trainer is only there for you for the time you're with them. Most online coaching programs have one coach, 50 clients. We all have 24 hours. Realistically, do you think they can get back to, or that coach can get back to your concerns in time? What we have is a team supporting you 24/7. Instead of one coach, you'll have a team of 6 experts, and who knows, by the time you're watching this, maybe 9 or 10, that prevent you from falling off and getting through the challenges while safely guiding you along your path to the top of the mountain.
Very happy with where I'm at. So I want to thank you and Maya and Simon, you guys, and Jacob, and everybody's doing a fantastic job. It's just great to have. Making a team sport really makes it fun, right? And helps you hold yourself accountable.
Just think about that. With 6 experts, how can you fail? And on the days you don't feel like showing up, you'll get the accountability and the motivation you need from the team. On top of that, you'll be joining a community of other career-driven men giving you support and daily inspiration. Just knowing that there are other men who are in the same situation, who are going through the same things and can actually relate, makes sticking to the path so much easier. With this map and safety ropes in place, you literally cannot fail. And that movie star body you always wanted is just a matter of time. That in mind, and knowing what you know now, there are 2 paths you can take from here. Path A, you can go and implement what I just shared. And I think with enough time, you will be able to figure it out and you will get to your dream physique. But that obviously might take you months, maybe even years. I mean, it took me close to a decade to know now. Plus, as you've probably already realized, there's not much helpful information out there for your specific challenges. And even if there was, where would you find the time to do the research and go through all the trial and error process when you barely have time for much else? In life, you always pay with time or with money. So the question is, how much is it costing you every single day not being where you could be? How much longer do you want to keep spinning your wheels, being stuck, frustrated, out of shape, feeling embarrassed taking your shirt off, not feeling amazing, not loving the way you look, and not having the confidence you could have. Your situation might not be your fault, but it is your problem. Which leads me on to path B. You get help to speed up the process. And here are some of your options. You could choose to go with an app. There are definitely a lot of them out there. The problem is that with your unpredictable lifestyle, you'll need something that is more custom and tailored to you. How do I know this? I had my own. And after literally spending 3 months waking up every single morning at 4 a.m., catching the train, and heading to the gym to record the exercise videos, just after 2 months of launching it, I shut it down. Why? Because my focus was split and I wasn't serving my one-on-one clients at the level that I could. So I decided to focus all my time and attention to creating something even better, to something that could truly change lives. It's just different having someone by your side guiding you one-on-one. There's a reason we have the success rate that we do. Then you could choose to work with a personal trainer, which is definitely a valid option, and there are a lot of them out there. I mean, I could even go find you some, but here's why that won't work for you. You're constantly traveling, which will make it close to impossible to make your schedules align, but more than that, you'll have to adhere to their schedule. But it doesn't end there. You won't get any nutrition guidance, which we established earlier is like 80% of the game. And when it comes to the training, do they really want to teach you everything when they basically need you to return in order to make money? And what about the cost? Depending on where you're located, this can vary, but let's go conservative and say that it's $50 a session. With 4 sessions a week, that's $800 a month, and since they won't teach you everything, you'll probably end up being with them for at least a year, which is $9,600 later. For example, this is Trung. He joined us after being with a PT for 6 months, and this was his reaction to his very first training session. I know what we do works, but honestly, I was quite taken aback to see how low the standard is out there. So after a year, you'll have paid close to $10,000, probably only have mediocre results, and still feel kind of lost. Now that's not even taking the opportunity cost of not being where you could be into consideration. Before I hired a business coach, I was losing multiple 6 figures a year, not knowing how to get there. Never mind the location and time freedom that it now gives me. How much is it costing you every day not being where you could be, not having the confidence, energy, abundance, and happiness you could have? And maybe because you're missing out on that, as a result, you're missing out on that promotion or starting that business you always wanted. How much is that worth to you? Then there's the option to book in a call with me with the link in the description. I've been at this for close to a decade, and after years of pain, research, trial and error, and thousands of dollars later, but more importantly, helping hundreds of busy traveling men at this point, I can confidently say that this will work for you. If you do something for that long, you just get pretty good at it. There's very few things in life that if you just change one thing will lead to a chain of events that will change your life forever. And fitness is one of them. It will completely change everything for you. You will radiate confidence, your energy will skyrocket, your outlook on life will improve, even your skin will start to glow, your clothes will fit better, and as a result, it will impact your relationships, your career, and it will feel amazing being in your shoes. How do I know this? Fitness changed everything for me and my clients, and I want you to feel the same way. I want you to feel what it's like to be in the best shape of your life while being able to travel and without letting fitness control your life. Why? Because believe me when I say, I understand where you're at. I remember what it's like feeling worthless and uncomfortable in my own skin, which wasn't even that long ago, and I don't want that for anyone. And I also remember vividly what it's like being clueless, lost, hopeless. But I also know what it's like being on the other side. Fitness changed my life. It gave me financial freedom and the confidence that I can do anything I set my mind to. And I know it will do the same for you. You are closer than you think, and lazy shredding is the key. So if you're ready to change your life forever, book in a call by clicking the link in the description below, just like these hundreds of career-driven men just like you did before you. and I'll show you exactly how to get into movie star shape as a busy traveling man. This means that you'll be able to work out for only 3 hours a week while traveling or at home without having to worry about gym equipment or access to a proper gym, and have the freedom to eat the foods you enjoy while on the go, eating out or at home every single day, and ultimately have the highest chance of achieving your dream body. I know this works, but don't just take my word for it.
What would you tell yourself 4 months ago?
In retrospect, probably the best investment I ever made in my life, and actually not that significant of one.
Better than I expected. Still have more I want to go. I feel like a young man again, man. So I feel like I'm in my early 20s.
How do you feel, Ilya? I feel awesome. How do you feel? Awesome. Just having energy. I feel healthy, which I haven't felt that in a long time. So,
what would you tell younger Matt a couple of months back, sitting on the verge of joining the program?
I would highly recommend it. Don't hesitate. All the support you need is there, and the more you put in, the more you will get out. So go jump in 100%.
And now what would you tell someone else on the verge of joining the program?
I would tell anyone if they are ready to make a change and willing to do the work, this would be the way to do it. The whole team, and I'm just like, it's changed a lot over the last 6 months too. Like it's a lot of new people. But yeah, from the beginning, when it was just like you and Maya, now as more people get added in, it's like, but the quality has only improved, and you guys are so available and so accessible. It doesn't feel online.
What is it like being you right now? Genuinely, because you are
52, yeah.
Have you seen yourself? And you 50 freaking 2. It's one thing being in your 20s and looking like that, but you 50 freaking 2. How does it feel to be you right now?
I feel like a badass, man. So I feel extremely confident. I feel very healthy.
What would you tell that Chris in that moment, sitting on the verge of joining the program?
You know, knowing what I won't know now, I would have definitely just told myself there should be no doubts. This should just be a no-brainer. It should be a 100% commit to it right now, because it'll be worth it. So, and I'm glad.
What would you tell someone who's been doing the same thing over and over again, not seeing results, getting frustrated, and they haven't gotten the right help yet? They may be sitting on the verge of either giving up or giving coaching a shot. What would you tell them?
I think at the end of the day, you have to understand that you have to do something that you never did to get something you never got. To become the fit person, you need to act like one. You can't just do the stuff, be the person, have the thing. You need to become the person before you see the person. And in order to do that, you need to take the actions and make decisions as the person you want to become. And to make those decisions and take those actions, a big step of that is booking a call with Dominic's team and to actually get that help. Because if you don't spend the money, if you don't put the investment in, if you don't put in the work in, you're going to remain the same. You're going to stay in the same spot that you're right now. If you're someone who travels a lot for their career, or you're a business owner and you know the importance of your health, the importance of how you feel in the day-to-day, you need to book in a call, talk to the team, find out if there's a way that can possibly help you. Because if you don't, you're going to stay stuck in the same cycle that you're probably in now, just like I was a couple months ago, doing the same thing, feeling terrible, not looking great, not feeling confident. Ultimately, that bleeds into every single area of your life. There's so many different ways that health impacts you, not just directly on how you feel, but it goes across all areas. So I would strongly recommend someone who's kind of sitting on the line or sitting on the edge. I would encourage to take the leap of faith. Although that might be scary if you've never done it before, you need to, again, act like the person you would want to become. And the fit person invests in their health, invests in support, and invests in team.
The term that keeps coming to mind is the supreme satisfaction I've received from 8 months with you guys. I mean, it's really incredible. Your program is so admirable. I mean, I just appreciate you. You know, you're so incredibly ambition is contagious in the best way. You know, you're always in such a positive mood, but it's been truly life-changing. So I can't thank you enough for that.
Money's one thing, but I mean, even in this program, I think it allows me to make more money.
In what way?
I got my time back, getting that hour back from the gym every day, getting that energy back, which also is like a surge in the morning and a surge at night, significantly improved like what I'm capable of doing outside of work on my weekends.
No, I respect what you've done at such a young age too. Yeah, it's pretty pretty empowering to see what you're building. So I honor you for that, man. That's pretty cool.
What were your initial concerns?
I think the biggest one, which is probably the most common, is like, is this going to work? Because the program I had tried working with another coach, which I mean, it was totally different from what we have on here. This is a way above step, let's say.
Because of that concern, what made you do it anyway?
When I saw the ad on Instagram was because it was like tailored to my lifestyle, where I saw that you already worked with pilots, so you understood how the lifestyle and the difficulties were to make it work. Because I used to like waste a lot of time like trying to find like a workout on YouTube. I want to work out biceps today, so I would look something like try to find an exercise, and now I have everything right there. I have my workout already there with the videos and like my weights, the reps I've been doing, so it's like right there. It's quick, easy.
And how do you feel like we've helped you the most? It seemed that your team was able to analyze each individual situation. It's like, okay, this is where you are, this is your weight, these are all your measurements, this is what's specific to you, this is what you want, this is where you want to be, and it's very clear. It's all so transparent. I think that's a very, very credible strength.
Now, what would you tell someone else that is sitting on the edge, on the verge of joining a program or our program, for example?
I would tell them at this point, it's not only like the best decision that you will ever make, it's probably like the easiest decision you'll ever make, right?
Why is that?
You're laying out a plan, you're providing the support. All you have to do is follow it.
Do you remember where you were like 16 weeks ago?
I was definitely very low in mood. I felt very like frustrated because I didn't feel like I had any objective to say to me, this is what I think you need to do, both in the gym and outside the gym. And when you're trying to sort of just go at it alone, even though you can kind of keep working hard and doing what you think, if your technique and your overall plan isn't right, yeah, you're going to fail. You're not going to get what you want. So that I think was very depressing, because I thought, I know I can do it, but I don't really have like the guidance to tell me what to do. And there's so much misinformation from different people that I was sort of sick of hearing that misinformation. But at the time, it's difficult to like commit to something that I've never done before. I thought to myself, hey, it's like everything else didn't work, so I have to try something else.
You're in the spot right now, sitting on the other side, and you can just say like, it's actually not that hard to get where I'm at once you know what I'm doing, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think for me, now that I have a plan in place and I know what to do, it's almost a lifestyle.
Before you joined us, where were you mentally and physically?
And I was mentally exhausted. I run a business. That was a lot of complications from a leadership perspective. Since the months we started working together, I've had record months consistently month on month for all the months that we've been working together. I've worked with PTs before in the past. I've worked with online trainers. It wasn't quite on the level of what it was like working with you guys.
Since you have the comparison, what did we do differently?
Looking at the way your fulfillment is built out and how you serve your clients, I've actually taken inspiration for my own business, because the level of efficacy and the level of support, the level of care, and the level of systems you have in place to ensure someone is accountable towards their goals and really has everything that they need to pursue their fitness goals, whatever that may be. When I traveled from Dubai to Australia to go travel for a month, Maya, was in the group chat like, hey, this is what you should be eating. You should be eating. I think it was amazing from that element. The training, the community, everything involved was just really, really good, and to a very high level of standards.
Let's go back. We have to look at the past, my brother. We have to. So this was old you, right? This was old you. Now this is you right now. That's insane. Holy shit. Like, you like a new human. You're a new human.
The physical aspect of it, that's like, that's a plus. But just overall seeing like my mentality change and my outlook and being that much more positive, and I feel like it's made me more of a go-getter now as opposed to what I was before.
Worst case scenario, I'm out a little money. Best case scenario is the best investment in my life. And that's what it was. Like, it really was, because what I was doing not working. And maybe in a different life or a different career field, I'd have the time to do the research all the time. But just having everything kind of laid out with me, having someone tell me, here, just eat these things. Here, just do this workout. And here's the workout.
I'm
going to plan it for you.
You sort of made it a lifestyle, right?
Oh yes, that's pretty cool. I think the thing that I am most proud of is that I was able to make that a new lifestyle without it ever feeling like it was my main area of focus. I'm doing all of my work things, and on the side, legs. I get to change my lifestyle in terms of fitness. That's pretty amazing.
Did you have concerns before you signed up?
Primary concern I had was, well, but is it going to be worth the cost? I think in retrospect, it's a bargain. Primarily concerned about the cost because it's all virtual. You go to the gym, you see trainers working out, folks look at some of the trainers, they don't look like they should be training anybody. Day after day or week after week, you don't see their clients. I was skeptical about how successful it could be. I actually think it works out because it's really 24-hour access potentially, being able to work virtually. All the tools you put into place assist with the accountability. Somebody to bounce ideas off of, learned a lot, thought I knew it all, but didn't. So super impressed. Like everything I wanted to see in terms of what great could look like, I'm starting to see in myself. Super excited, super impressed.
First of all, could you have ever imagined having such a big change in such a short time?
No. First of all, I had never done a whole body split before, and I loved your whole body split. You talk about it a lot on like your Instagram. Everything you say is true. It just makes life so much better. That has been a game changer, and I don't think I would ever do anything other than that. And a huge increase in knowledge, and I would say like confidence in that regard. Confidence that I know what I'm doing.
One less thing to worry about too. You're always like, oh, I gotta take care of this and get this done, and I also need to lose weight. And you just keep working, like I said, digging your hole. But now it's like, oh, I just go do my 48-minute workout and eat things, and it's such a small part of my life. It's not 2 hours at the gym a day and just feeling like I'm getting nowhere.
Would you say that you've added years to your life?
For sure. Probably. I'll throw a number out there. Maybe like 7 years or something, like significant.
And that the only reason I'm leaving is I'm now in a place where I can continue to do this on my own, which I'm very thankful for.
How have things changed for you? You have achieved something pretty cool in 16 weeks.
I just feel better, move better, feel cleaner, more energy, feel lighter from a weight perspective. We nearly lost, I think it was like 10 kilos or something like that. All around, it's just been amazing from a mental and a physical perspective as well. When you eat terribly and you don't train and you get used to that feeling, you forget how good it felt being healthy, sleeping well, managing your stress, training. You only really can sense that feeling when you get back into it. And especially if you run a business like myself, you need all these things to be well. And you need to be a well-oiled machine. Yeah, it's been drastic improvements in regards to that.
There is, of course, always that skepticism, and our brain is designed to keep us safe. What would you tell someone sitting on the edge of joining a program like this?
Make a list of your concerns. Start looking at them objectively. I think one, particularly if you're really busy or professional, is I don't have the time for this. You need to make the time for yourself because you're no good to anybody if you're not healthy. You're no good to yourself if you're not happy. It's not a huge time commitment in retrospect. It makes you better for the rest of your day too. It makes me a lot more focused. I get a lot more efficient with my time and I have a lot more energy. It's not a tiny financial investment, but it's probably got the best return on your investment, I think. You can go buy a car or you can go take care of yourself. This is a good use of funds, good use of resources. If there's anything you can do to help yourself, take it.
Knowing what you know now and knowing how you look right now. If I asked you 8 months ago, I'll give you $5,000 and you don't sign up with this program, or you sign up with this program, what would you do?
With all the knowledge that I have, I would sign up for the program because that's worth more than the $5,000.
That's how you know this stuff works. That's the power of lazy shredding. And just think about it. Right now, there's people just like you, travel, busy, but are living their dream life, are in the best shape of their life. And that could be you. What would that be worth to you? And if all this did was add 5 years to your life, or just make you feel comfortable taking your shirt off again, wouldn't that be worth it? Good news is you only have to get it right once, because once you have the knowledge, you'll be good for the rest of your life. So you have two options. You can either be the one that takes action and gets what's yours, like Brian, Jai, Alil, Nadeem, Jeffrey, and so many others did. Or you can sit back and watch others succeed in way less time. The choice is yours. So if you're sick and tired of having an average physique and being stuck, book in a call with the link in the description below and we'll see if you're a good fit. Do not book in a call if you're not ready to see insane results. You just want to chat or have a therapy session. You're okay with being average. This may be the right fit for you if you want to work with the best rather than being limited by whoever is local. You're tired of hopping from diet to diet and showing up consistently to the gym and not seeing results. You're sick of second guessing yourself and want to leave the decisions in the hands of experienced professionals. You recognize that your time is way too valuable to be spending hours doing research and not even being certain if what you find will even work for you. You understand that the longer you wait, the worse your situation is going to get, and the more time you are taking away from future you who could live his dream life. You realize that there is no better time than the present to take action to change your life. And you dread the thought of waking up one day with looking back at your life with regret because you never took a bet on yourself. So if that sounds like you and you're committed about your goals and you're actually serious about changing your life, book in a call below and I'll talk to you soon. You owe it to yourself to achieve everything you've been dreaming of, and I'd love to help you make that happen. Future you will be super proud and glad that you took a bet on yourself. You only have one life. Click the link below and I'll see you on the call.